welcome back everybody to the Collecting Brothers. John, this is Josh, and today, for the technical difficulties, we are back. We are live. First one where me and Josh, we kind of been on the same screen.
Yeah.
So
Man, super excited for Andor. Just excited to get good Star Wars. It's been I feel like it kind of nice to have. I think it's nice to have a Star Wars property that I think the majority of the fandom enjoys, because then it makes it kind of enjoyable for everybody. Because there's kind of been divisive, kind of except that this, at least that from the shows, except kind of this show. I feel like this show has been well received by majority of the fandom in the community.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right about that. It is very well received. It is currently obsessed with Star Wars, right? 'Cause it is harder for.
I think also it's very respectful to the lore and also expanding the lore. Like I feel like because some of the critiques I've heard of people that didn't like Andor was, people say the interesting we got was when Luthen freaking busted out his ship with the lasers. Insane, right? But besides that, it's a kind of a slow burn. And I think if you're not a fan or maybe that knowledgeable of the lore of Star Wars and the connection to it, then it probably is boring for you. So I think it's a show also for the well-informed fan, for the fanatic. For sure. Like you don't have to see to watch, but to appreciate what it is and what it's doing. Yeah, you definitely have to watch A New Hope, Rogue One, Rebels.
Yeah, for sure.
Or is everyone already know? No, I can remember. No, dude's highlights was it's got to be the Luthen scene.
All of them become a rebel because prior to that he's just a smuggler, right?
And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we should talk about. I don't know. You can say whatever you want about season 1. I'm good on season 1.
Okay. All right. Well, let's jump in then. Let us know down below if you guys have any questions in our chat. We'd love to hear from you. We'll kind of try our best to highlight you. Can't bring it up, but you kind of see us right below us. You see the live chat there. So I really appreciate anyone who's here, anyone catching the replay. Love that you're here. But let's talk about season 2, episode 1. So we start off on a testing site, like a Imperial testing site. We see Andor. We see him in that suit that we've seen in the action figure form.
You can see the helmet, and it has the insane. It looked to me. I need to get a double look. I need to rewatch it, but it looked to me like the Inferno Squad helmet. So the helmet had the Inferno Squad insignias, and I think that's one of the beautiful things. I think that's what makes the Star Wars fan more knowledgeable, to believe it or not, is if you collect action figures and Legos. When you collect action figures and Legos, you basically have mini models and you spend time with toy. You know what I'm saying? Because we have those Inferno Squadron, I know those symbols. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the heck? And it makes sense because kind of Inferno Squadron was wearing, I'm pretty sure, an Inferno Squadron TIE pilot uniform. Maybe not part of Inferno Squadron, but under that umbrella of super secretive TIE pilots.
Yeah, I agree. And Inferno Squad is pretty far off in the timeline, but definitely, a predecessor. So,
and then one thing with the opening scene, I think great callback, because when you watch that scene and he's talking with that girl that's helping him to steal the interceptor, she's like, I might die here today. Is it going to be worth it? And he he basically lies to her, because she's dead. She's cooked. He knows she's gonna die. He knows she's gonna get murked. Charm to be like, oh, we're kind of I feel like he kind of was using his male charm to
check in with Mike. Hello.
Can you hear me?
You're back. Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Yeah, he was kind of using any means necessary, and it kind of, I feel was a really callback to the opening scene of Rogue One, when he's running with that guy in the opening scene of Rogue One, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, dude, I don't want to do this," and he blasts him, right? So it's it's just showing the other side of the rebellion. Yes, these are good people fighting for a cause, but they become so obsessed with their end goal of defeating the Empire, that they're willing to sacrifice their morals, sacrifice their humanity, and just kill people, basically, because he killed that guy.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. And it was interesting because he's still also even though he's trying to convince her to be a rebel, even when she gets talks to that her boss or whatever, and he's like, what did she say? He's still very suspicious and has to be so careful about everything. even though he is charming. Blasting. That was really cool. Seeing all the rotary cannons, the plasma cannon.
Because I'm of the fandom that I really enjoyed Solo. I feel like it was a good film, and took us to new planets and new troopers, and one of those new troopers was the range trooper.
Yeah.
So good to see that range trooper back there, because it kind of was like on a cliffy, hilly side that you might need magnetic boots or whatever to scale, and he had a huge old rocket launcher, which that's from Solo, and then the rocket launcher's from Jedi Fallen Order. Both video games plus watch Solo, so it's like there's things in there for the obsessive fan, and that's just what I love about it. Another thing too that I don't if you noticed, the two ships that started chasing Andor, it's kind of hard to see because but I'm pretty sure they were TIE pilots, they were TIE fighters, but if you notice, the TIE fighter wings you can definitely see the phase 2 Jedi Starfighter cockpit has the window frame of a TIE fighter. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it has that. Yeah, they were curved, and apparently it's going to be a predecessor up through Vader. It's like one.
So that ship first appears in Rebels. So Vader has that TIE fighter first in Rebels. Like I think in season 1 it shows up with the curved TIE fighter.
Those icy little, give us a space, not a space flight, but give us like some type of TIE fighter stuff. And that thing cooks, the TIE Avenger takes off, and Andor's just left out floating.
Is that what it's called?
TIE Avenger, yeah. The TIE Avenger.
Oh, okay, that's odd. Maybe it's like, because that's like the TIE Interceptor.
It's a predecessor to
but it's like a pre, it's like a pre. I feel like, maybe they should have made it look a little different, because I feel like, usually with the pre, you can kind of see.
Yeah, I think the back end is like more bulky of it.
Maybe.
But yeah, no, it is very, because it's the split wings or the split like fenders up front. Yeah, definitely give the TIE Interceptor vibes. But from there, oh man, what happens next? We jump over to Mon Mothma, right?
Yeah, then it's just like rich people, Mon Mothma doing politics. Luthen shows up, and he's
wedding.
like, then she brushes over.
Really cool. I don't know if you realize, but that was a one we don't, and then we just follow her all the way down. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
That was nice because like it helped build that tension.
Andor crazy enough to like bring that ship. I thought maybe like Andor ship with the Interceptor. Who the heck was it? Yeah, right. Was it that? Yeah, but yeah, it's Luthen. And it's honestly so cool to see Mon Mothma. And it's kind of crazy to think about how her small appearance with, I think, like maybe a line in Revenge of the Sith has kind of carried her to 2 seasons where she's like a titular character. Like she's one of the main. You might be right about that.
In Revenge of the Sith, where she's like having the council meeting to start.
You might be right about that, dude. For me, I watched the extended edition. That's the normal edition for me. When I watch Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, I watch the extended editions.
Yeah. No,
you might be right about that.
Yeah, I think it was. But yeah, no, that actress, like, to have
I think her line is deleted, but I think she shows up like.
Oh, okay.
In the background. But
let you back in.
Okay, I'm back.
All right. Yeah. Move your head a little bit. Yeah, I can see you. Okay, cool. Yeah, no.
Yeah, so super cool because I feel like you just got that little role and you didn't think anything of it, and then now it just like pays huge dividends. Because like it is really cool just for maybe in that deleted scene or in the background of Revenge of the Sith, maybe in theaters, right? Maybe you go watch it in theaters, you'll be like, you have all that kind of extra story now with that character.
Yeah, no, and it's nice that we're getting that fleshed out because like she is, one of the rebel leaders, So from the Richie wedding place that they go to, wherever they jump in next, we jump over to Krennic.
Then it's Andor dropping off the tie, and it was like a red one. It was like with red decals. And first, yeah. Then
before he starts, when he gets there, he starts yelling out, "Porco, Porco!"
Yeah.
Who's he talking about?
Pork. He better be like a chubby character.
Could be. But yeah, then those rebels, the little rebel cell shows up. Where those two guys just keep arguing.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, the guy with the red scarf, the one that said like his brother betrayed, like his brother left him, the guy who was saying, "Your brother left me," the guy with the red scarf, dude, he's such a bad actor. He literally pulled me out of the show how bad he was delivering those lines, which is kind of crazy. I don't know, what did you think how his line delivery on that guy?
I definitely felt the desperation, and maybe that's
How did they let this guy in the show? I'm like, this show is you gotta.
The other head guy is actually one of the son of, a little bit of nepotism happening there.
Oh,
So
gotcha. You don't appreciate acting until you see someone who can act. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's like when, like for most people, like you think like, dude, I could say those lines and I could do Andor's job. I could do Diego Luna's job, no problem. But then you see that guy with the red scarf and you're like, it just feels weird. Like something feels like it's like they're reading lines off a paper, and it's
yeah,
weird.
yeah. There's skill to it, right? There's skill to
Yeah.
acting, and so not everyone can just go out there and do it. But yeah, no, I agree. There was something off, but nothing that like took me out of it fully. It was cool to be in the jungle there, and we'll see what happens next.
But he's like, dude, I'm not an imp. I'm not an imp. I'm here to drop off the ship. But then they're like, they can't kill him because they need him. And then what was kind of crazy is like
Right.
he was just 2 days away from Porkin, so there shouldn't be that hungry. Two or 3 days without food.
Well, depends on where they
but-
came from, right? Because remember they got dropped off there.
But do they do? I don't think they do time dilation in Star Wars. I don't think so.
No, they had like some rations that they showed on screen, but there was a lot.
Yeah, it's like 2 to 3 days. Like it kind of threw me off that part because they were like, everybody was kind of fighting to get off. Like they were rushing to get off, and that dude was like, "Hey, you got any food in here?" You know what I'm saying? Hey, that was the dude. That was the one funny joke there. They slipped in. I loved it. And so it kind of felt like I thought they were there for a long time, and then Cass was like, "Oh, I was here just 3 days ago.
Right.
Where's Pork go?"
Right.
And I was like, "What the heck?"
And then there's some beasts that are like rummaging around at night. They said that they might find them. We'll see what that's all about. But yeah. And he notices what's that? What's Mon Mothma's old flame? Talos? What's his name?
I don't know.
It's that silver-haired guy though, who's like drunk the whole time.
Well, that's her husband. I thought.
No, that was her like high school sweetheart. The
Oh,
dark-haired
yeah.
ponytail is her husband.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he's like starting to threaten her. He's like, I know, the money. I know about the money. You better like give me some.
Right.
And so then Mon is just so scared of it and worried about it. But then Luthen starts just eyeballing him. He's locked in. He's like, can't have no loose ends, right? Luthen almost freaking killed Andor just because he went rogue for a little bit.
Yeah, people sacrifice anything. It brings me back to like that Luthen line where they're like what do they sacrifice? Everything. And they like one of my favorite lines that in the end, how we know how it ends, right? With Rogue One and like Cassian sacrificing himself, but then him never seeing if the Death Star just Luthen,
Yeah. What else does Luthen say? He's like, but yeah, then he kind of the two teams start fighting over on the jungle planet, and Andor gets caught. Kind of they separate, and Andor gets caught in the middle, right? Still tied up. Oh, we'll see what happens next.
Yeah, and then he's like trying to convince one of the guys to just leave with him. He's like, "Hey, just leave with me," and then he's like, "Nah." And then what happens after that?
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Oh no! Then we get into the Krennic scene, and Krennic is talking with Krennic is there and the other guy. Can't remember the creepy guy. It's like the creepy guy from Game of Thrones.
Okay, yeah. So that
Yeah,
now,
and he's just a top-notch actor. Like the way he delivers his line, I think there's something just special about his voice, where it has like power. It's like sinister. Yeah, dude, he did. Yeah, that's true. One thing I did notice, you gotta love actors that are down like that, because I think sometimes it's a good point to bring up. Want to do this anymore? I'm not gonna do sometimes big actors that get egos are like, I'm not gonna do no kids show. I'm not gonna do no animated show.
Yeah.
And so for him to do that, just a testament. Like you can tell he cares about Star Wars. He cares about his role.
Yeah, he cares about that character. Yeah.
One thing I did notice, the belly more than I was like, yeah, it was definitely
those characters back for Andor, and then they played that weird video of the Gormans. Now, if you've watched Rebels, you know what happens with the Gormans, right? We get into the Gorman massacre, which is kind of like a Boston Massacre sort of thing, where it kind of starts off a rebellion cell there.
right.
And Mon even came and voiced her character in Rebels as well. So, yeah,
To real life, right? Where you look at the Empire and you can see like they need this resource, right? They need this. What is it? What is it? Some sort of crystal, something.
Yeah,
They said to coat the
shielding.
lasers of the Death Star.
Yeah,
It was like car night, something like that. But like you can see parallels like in our real life, right? Like the Empire could be like, you know, these big countries that we are in this world has to go, and they usually have to do hostile takeovers of countries for like, in this case, like now, like, right, like when they go to South America and they're just like mining that, or they go to Venezuela and like for the oil and make kind of their economy like destabilize, you know?
yeah, yeah. And that's what's going to happen here on this planet. They're going to mine it and basically make it unlivable. And so they're trying to say, okay, well, how do we make it so people are okay with that? And one idea was to destabilize it. One was to.
But that was Deidre's idea, right?
Yeah. Well,
And
Deidre's was interesting because Deidre's is what they're going to go with, right? They're going to count on rebels to make mistakes or do crazy things.
No, well, not count. Basically, pay people to appear as rebels and do bad things, so that they see series and rumblings of that happening, like in like the States, and having their like proxy leaders in South America destabilizing Venezuela with the oil reserves and destabilizing, and even the CIA has it, and so that's what's happening.
Go Google COINTELPRO in the 70s, man.
Yeah, and so like that's what I'm saying. Like that's what's so beautiful about this show is like it's more than just Star Wars. It's more like honestly like a political like kind of historical commentary.
Yeah, yeah, and I think they get more into that as well. That way, that takes care of them, and they don't have to worry about it. But yeah, Deidre's plan of like saying, let the rebels, right, quote unquote rebels, make those choices, and then we can come in and just be like, no, we're shutting this down, right? We're protecting the Gormans, but in reality, they're just there to get the
right. You're gonna have some sort of instigator, you know, start somebody with the gun blast, and everybody just starts blasting, right? somebody with a bomb.
All right, that's the Boston Massacre, right?
Someone with a thermal detonator
off a shot, and then everyone else started going crazy.
And you know, people said like the same thing, like with like kind of in our kind of modern times, like people said like, oh, you know, they'd be like, oh, somebody was trying to incite violence at the Black Lives Matter rallies, you know, for the left side, and then be like, oh, somebody's trying to incite violence at the MAGA rallies. Like both sides kind of both claim that that's happening. People took pictures, but it's like both sides are kind of saying that the other party's paying people to instigate and start violence.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we're seeing here from the Empire. They're going to get what they want, no matter what. And and then from there let's talk about Brasso, Bix, and Willman down on that farming planet. Right, we got to them.
Yeah, and he was just like, I don't know, they're just there. Well, they saw that big Empire ship.
Yeah,
and that actually looked to me as like an Empire like transport from Rebels, I think.
Okay.
That's what it looked like to me.
And we're in that timeline, right? We're right in that time, so.
Yeah, they're pulling a lot from Rebels for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, Bix is like still completely traumatized, right? She got tortured by that weird dude that shows up in the mirror.
Yeah.
And so she's just trying to go day by day. They're workers like on some type of corn mills or wheat mills or something. They're just there to hide, right? They don't get no shares, right? They're just there to hide and work. But they also have like that farming community where they like feed each other, and B2 Emo is running around playing with the kids.
Yeah, and he got a new yellow leg.
Yeah.
The Hasbro made him do that so they can make a second B2 Emo figure.
They're like, can you just change that color, please?
Yeah, change something on there, like what they do with 3PO. Give him a red arm. We got it. We're not gonna sell him the same gold 3PO. We gotta make him buy it because there's a red arm.
Because you got the gold 3PO, you got the silver leg 3PO, you got the red arm 3PO.
You got they even do dusty, dirty Tatooine 3PO.
So yeah, like they're living a nice little life, but they're in hiding, right? And Brasso is there, and they're just trying on that jungle planet. And the episode does end with them like in a shootout on the jungle planet, and Cassian kind of caught in the middle of that. So we kind of know where all of our players are right now. And wait, did we see that kid with Cyril? Did we talk? Was Cyril introduced in this episode?
I don't think so.
The guy who has the hots for Deirdre.
I don't think so.
Right on Ferrex.
Yeah.
Where everyone got sent off, and they're in hiding, and we'll see what happens next. So I think that wraps up episode 1, though.
Yep, pretty much.
What do you think as a first episode, Josh? Do you feel like it's a good start? I know you got taken out a little bit because of the actors.
Nah, yeah, that honestly, but that's the thing. That's like my only complaint. I think another thing too. I just feel like cinematography wise, it's far more beautiful than The Mandalorian. Far more beautiful than Boba Fett. Something about whoever is like kind of running the camera, I think, is just gets better shots. Yeah, it's a more beautiful show just to watch, even without the script. If there was no letters, it's just I don't know if they're using better cameras, but maybe what's also too could be maybe that there's less CGI ships and troopers and more lightsabers. There's less and there's more CGI. Whereas this, we just got the TIE Avenger, and that's kind of really it. Besides the backgrounds, of course, backgrounds are backgrounds, but there's less CGI compared to other shows, I think.
All right, so I looked it up. His name is Damian Garcia. Is the DP or the cinematographer for focus on realism and eye level frame.
It's more like I think that's what makes it beautiful is that it is real. Like for the most part, like it's definitely less CGI for sure.
I think less CGI where you don't need it, because like you don't need it all the time. You can for the space stuff, that's fine. But even like when you see Andor flying in the sky and in the cockpit. Like, that's all practical, right? He's not just sitting in a chair with two little handles, right? He has that whole set built for him, and they had a rig where they were able to thrash him around in it, and so like it just feels a lot more grounded. But yeah, no, I agree with you, man. I think it's a nice looking show, and there was like a lot of variation too, like with the wheat fields, the coldness, the brutalism of the Empire, and the wealthy naturist of Chandra.
Right, you definitely get super contrast, with that, like especially that shot where like it goes to kind of like it's a really cool kind of transition where you have those rebels like this nice little orb, and so whereas like you have like those rebels just talking about like they're starving and they're literally fighting amongst themselves just to leave the planet to go probably find food if anything, and then the Empire just eating delectables.
I think you're right. I think you should. I've seen the next two episodes already, and they also are. The last episode 3, the last part of episode 3, man. Like they go back and forth between a couple of scenes of stories, but they keep the music, and it's like a really hard juxtaposition of like something happening, of those like match cuts to show like the
even Mon Mothma, even Mothra, not Godzilla, even with Mon Mothma, like. I'm not even in this story, but even just seeing the difference between like Andor and like Mothma, nice fancy clothes, go to parties,
Yeah.
But then you gotta think of then who sacrificed more, because think about this, Mon Mothma starting here and she's gonna end up.
Yeah, because like Mon she has a whole family.
She has more to lose.
This whole
just status, wealth.
Status, and she could lose all of that, right? Whereas Andor literally didn't have a family, so.
Right, like Andor like killed somebody. He's like his life was already kind of over to begin with. Like he's like in that regards, he's not sacrificing much, but then for what he's doing, he's sacrificing maybe more than Mon Mothma because he has to do more. Cool to see kind of like the two sides of sacrificing.
Yeah.
And then just good actors. I think I just love Diego Luna. I think he's a good actor. Like Diego Luna's good. I need to see him do more movies. He's got to do more stuff.
Check out his other stuff. Yeah.
What else has he been in? He's been in Elysium. What else? Rogue One.
Yeah, he was in Elysium.
What else is he in?
Let me find out here. Diego.
My mom recognized him from a novella they used to watch. Like a novella they used to watch, and he was like super young and he was fat.
Oh,
and
really?
like he was super white. Like if you look at Diego Luna in a novella, he was in this really, I can't remember what novella they called it, but he was really overweight. And my mom was like, "Is that him? There's no way," because this kid was like overweight, like really chubby guy. And then we looked it up, and it was him. And so he was he's definitely kind of big in the Mexican scene because he was doing novellas for quite a while before this. Even when he was he's probably like 12 or 14 years old in that novella, but he was really chubby, like really overweight kid. And he was like the son of like a rich guy in the novella. And my mom recognized him. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, no, for sure. He's a lot of Spanish films. Just some like minor roles elsewhere here in the like more domestic films. Nothing that's sticking out to me.
Yeah. So I think he just kind of recently transitioned. Like,
I think he recently
Probably
American
Rogue One was his big
stories.
break in America, I think, because I think Rogue One was even before Elysium.
No, Rogue One was after. Rogue One was
After Elysium?
2016. Elysium was 2013.
Oh, okay, oh yeah.
No,
So yeah,
it
maybe
was
Elysium
Rogue.
was his. Rogue was definitely, yeah.
Rogue was
And
his.
even since then, I haven't seen him in much.
It looks like he's been doing. He did Narcos Mexico. He did, yeah, Troll Hunters, Rise of the Titans. So just
I
kind
don't
of
know.
here and there,
Yeah,
but nothing like huge.
yeah.
Um, Flatliners. That was right after Rogue One. Yeah, it's you.
But yeah, dude,
I
I'm
really like
excited
it.
to see big actors like Saw, freaking Forrest Whitaker come back. That guy just carries. Can't wait to see that guy.
He did great in last season too when him and Luthen talk, right?
Yeah.
On fight again, because remember they had that like
Oh, they
shootout
will.
battle in Rebels.
Even in Rebels,
Oh
yeah,
my
and
god,
Rebels, it was like the two sides, right? It was like Mon Mothma, the
extremists.
Angel Rebel, and then freaking Saw is gonna do whatever he wants. So like, yeah, like maybe it's even gonna be like Luthen kind of, because Luthen's super extremist, like being like, what, Mon Mothma's not gonna do what I need. I'm gonna go seek help from Saw because Saw's gonna do my bidding.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing about Luthen, like he's gonna get the job done no matter what, and he's gonna
Yeah,
use
yeah.
anybody. Season 2. All right, Josh. Now let's hear your predictions of what's gonna happen next. What's happening to Diego or Cassian? What's gonna happen to Mon? What are you thinking?
Dude, what's crazy, and I think that's a testament to a good show, is I have no clue. Like any Star Wars show previously, or even the Star Wars movie, I just feel like with my information of the background lore and just being absorbing all the media that Star Wars had to offer, I could give you a prediction. But just having, I think a lot of characters that are either new or is like now this is her big kind of break. So it's like, dude, I couldn't tell you. I don't even know what's gonna happen. That's the thing that makes a good show too. Is like it's like what I think what a lot of people love about like Game of Thrones is that you couldn't anticipate what was gonna happen next. Like nobody was safe. You didn't know what was gonna happen, and
Yeah.
that's how I feel with this. Like I could tell you. That's the only thing I know is I just know Saw's gonna show up. So, things are about to get crazy. I'll tell you that. Saw and his crew are gonna show up.
Yeah, it'll be good. Yeah, I think when you kill a main character, like even though like Cassian
Exactly.
technically has it, but
Cassian
few
has
of
it,
them
but
have it.
Cassian, Mon Mothma,
Cassian's
and Deidre, Luthen, Bix. Like
Zero Bix.
something happens to happen with these guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll see. And again, these first 3 episodes are live now, so go check them out. Josh is gonna be watching 2, and we'll talk about episode 2 here in a little bit. And we're gonna try and do these weekly little chat. Make sure you guys comment, subscribe, like, whatever you want to do. Hang out.
Yeah. Tell us what you liked, what you didn't like, what you think's gonna happen next. Because honestly, I have no clue. Like I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. I'll tell you that much. I've enjoyed it, and we'll keep on. All right, friends. Well, as always, keep collecting, keep playing, and may the action for your gods smile upon you. Peace.